Hello and welcome to the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, Goldsmith. It is the third of February, 2025, and it is a Monday. Getting the week started off right with the X Stacks. Gonna give it to you. First dropped today. We've had some teasers on this. Official trailer kind of came out a couple days. A couple days ago, at the end of last week, and officially dropped and launched today. Few announcements on X Stacks. Obviously, original announcements, some clarifications, some playthroughs, so a bunch of things that have been coming out through Upland today on X Stacks. We also had a Frost Season BE sale get announced. We'll get into the details there. And a Flash Challenge. Flash Challenge is obviously tied to the newest, latest, greatest piece of Upland, which is X Stacks. So we'll get into all of that. And again, look at the next steps here of likely to be a continual effort here on Upland's part. X Stacks being a tangential game to Upland, kind of how it layers in as of right now from what we know, and maybe what some of those goals are moving forward. But for tonight, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. Some of the things are speculation, some of the things are absolute fact. We'll read the Upland's words and we'll have some speculation along the way. So all views and opinions expressed by myself, they're mine and mine alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game of the team of Upland. Any views or opinions expressed by those who are guests and contributors, their opinions are theirs and theirs alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game of Upland, the team of Upland, myself, the Goldsmith of the Cafe Nightly Show. Let's take a look at a couple of the announcements. We'll see a little bit of the playthrough here, but obviously the header of the today, the headline, if there is a single one, it is X Stacks goes live. Let's take a quick look. Again, details have been kind of been being drawn from a couple trailers. There was a hint, and there was a teaser, and there was an X, and we didn't know what it meant, and then we actually had a full trailer, and now we have a full game. Enters in X Stacks, a new revolutionary social gaming experience on X, put out by Upland. At Upland, we're looking for ways to push the boundaries of innovation, and today we're thrilled to announce X Stacks, which is ultimately, I don't know if I can say it, but ultimately a little bit of a reimagining of 20, 40, 50 years of a Tetris. Is that where we're on now? And again, we don't anything that you can do and move into a new area, move it into a new platform, and kind of tie something new to it, like trying to build a social aspect, try to build a team camaraderie, trying to build the social share of events, and even to tie this into the Upland community and potentially reach outside of it. It is something that is a positive. It is something that is a potential for new players to come in. We're going to have to see how this does and how this performs. But for now, for those who are already aligned with Upland, there's some rewards along the way, some opportunities to compete, some opportunities to win, and some specifics here as far as maybe with the way this leaderboard contest is a little reminiscent of some of the others we've seen in the past. Let's get into the details here. Set up to go live later today. Guess what? It has gone live. The first of its kind X Native experience merges the immersive city building aspects of Upland, the dynamic power of Sparklet Token, the challenge of 3D puzzle game, and the social connectivity of X. I don't know how much of Upland it really is. I'll get into some of the specifics of the idea that we have city alignment, but it is a simple game. It is what I would consider a mini game that could very easily be tied into an ecosystem of many mini games, and maybe that's the direction Upland goes. But it is what I would consider a mini game, and is it a mini game compelling enough to essentially say it's tied, is available outside the game of Upland, but it is something tied to Upland that people can compete in again and again, hour after hour, similar to how some people have invested hours upon hours in a treasure hunting. Is it that compelling? Is there that much depth? I'm going to leave that to be seen. But people have asked for Upland to come up with some other layer of gamification that has rewards, real rewards that come into the game of Upland. And this is a step that direction. It is not layer one. It is played outside the game of Upland, but it does have ties back to the game. And by being native to X, it is very accessible to those who are currently playing the game of Upland as well as people who aren't. So it is that potential to draw people in. In Upland, only players who have set their home address in the game can kick off X-Stacks. So essentially, to have that link, you had to have your Upland account set up. You had to have a city tied or a address tied to your account to get the link. Well, guess what? The link wasn't even working yet, so don't worry about that just yet. But you can play the game. You can get it. You can play the demo or the first level, regardless if you're tied to the game of Upland, regardless if you're tied to your X account. But that is a little bit of a misnomer there, because you could definitely keep playing just by tying to your X account. As the first fully integrated game on X, X-Stacks brings a new layer of interactivity to the platform. It uses our social connections to create real momentum, creating or making every post and interaction meaningful. This innovative approach helps drive mass adoption of Sparklet while showcasing the Upland brand to a broader audience. It's kind of fun that Upland kind of says, how this ties into Sparklet, which it does, ties into Sparklet, because Sparklet over the last week, as this excitement's been building about X and what X is and how that game's going to work, Sparklet's kind of gone the other way during that period of time. So what we do know is it can stand on its own potentially as a game, especially if it really does get that idea of provenance of this is the first of, people come to it because it is the first game to come in this way on Twitter, on X, and people want to interact with it because of that. And again, regardless of their affinity to Upland, just the game there in the first place. Head on over to the link to find out how it all works, and be sure to play and earn on X-Stacks. So what is running right now on X-Stacks, we'll get into it, is, again, essentially a leaderboard contest like we've had before, self-chosen teams like we've had in the past. And my thought, as always with these, is it's more important to choose the right team than to put in your own effort, because if you're on the team with those who are going to put the right effort in the right direction, or the one that has the most participants, generally speaking, you have a better chance to get started. Here we go. What is X-Stack? It's not just another puzzle game. It's a 3D block puzzle powered by the community, designed to harness the unique social features of X. Ultimately, it is a puzzle game with social posting, which we've seen before. Is nothing new, but it is new. It is new in its integration with X. Important to note, you can play multiple cities at once. Yes, I did catch on to that. X1 is, yes, you essentially have cities with the links that you do link into, and you can essentially have a score in one city, and a score in another city, and a score in another city, and a score in another city. So yes, you could continue to essentially have, think of it almost like having multiple saves in the game, where you have different progress bars depending on which city you're participating in. And if you're willing to put the hours in, you could be having a good score in a multitude of cities, and potentially putting yourself in line, if that city is the winner in a leaderboard contest, to win your share of that city's points. So good point, X1, to put out there is this is something that you are not restricted to a single city, but each playthrough or each leveling that you do go through in X-Stacks is going to be unique or tied to the city that you aligned with when you started that playthrough. Pick one of 18 cities to represent, whether it's your hometown or a city you simply love. The city becomes your team. Berlin, Buenos Aires, Chicago, Cleveland, Dallas, Kansas, Las Vegas, London, Los Angeles, Miami, Nashville, New Orleans, New York, aka Manhattan, or specifically Manhattan, I should say, because we do have other boroughs, but specifically Manhattan, Paris, Rio de Janeiro, San Francisco, Tokyo, and Washington, D.C. Play and earn. Compete in the game to earn points and climb the leaderboard. Social gameplay. Each time you play, your progress generates posts on X. When someone joins your team through your post, you both earn points, boosting your city's overall standing. Drive community momentum. The results in this fast-paced competitive experience where your team's engagement drives real progress can't be a level find someone who has and use their X link to move forward. Think of this as the next step or a more integrated version of the last airdrop, where there was social posts and points being awarded, and at one point there was engagement with your posts that were being used to help increase your score. And this is kind of a similar thing, is if you have more engagement, more individual engagements, it is your potential opportunity to get more posts or more points for those posts. And with that, the people who have more social engagement, people who already have a strong network, posting about XStacks or having scores out and having people integrate or interact with those posts and potentially enter into the ecosystem because of those posts, that's going to help you along the way, proportionally earning points along the way in your team as well. First game built exclusively for X just dropped. Warning, it's addictive. Drop your progress tweet to connect and compete. That is the official, I would say it felt like it was the first real, it's live, chop, let's go from XStacks. XStacks popped into reality on Twitter, I think a couple of days ago. I know that there was like 5 people who were following it, maybe 7 when I started following it 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, whatever it was now. But we see that XStacks is already jumping in followers. Expect that to happen soon. The in-game announcements and Upland obviously are going to push people that way, but potentially it is that opportunity that people are going to engage with the game for other reasons, and that's because people who aren't Upland followers are going to see your progress on X, on Twitter. Potentially, maybe it builds a little bit of steam for itself, being one of the first or being the first game exclusively built for X. And when we're talking about social media, and this has been a conversation for years, talking about social media and the precipice of the next in social media, people talk about one platform and the other being more holistic. Facebook had Facebook gaming for years and years. Twitter hasn't gone that route with a lot of integrated gaming just yet, and this could be the start. This could be the forefront of that trend moving forward. I think that's something that Upland is banking on here, trying to push something that direction. In Upland, only players who have set their home address in the game can kick off stacks. XStacks, not really, it doesn't seem to be the case, but to have the tie back to the game of Upland, you have to be at that point. Your home address determines the city you represent. Again, not the case. You can represent multiple cities by your playthroughs, and the game can only be initiated from within Upland and played exclusively on X. And that isn't the case either. I know that we've seen links that you can have an outside link that you can get through. You don't have to have your Upland account set up in order at least to play the first level of the game. To participate, players must also link their Upland profile with X, which everyone should have done, or most people should have done previously if they were previously doing the airdrops, the social airdrops that we saw months ago, ensuring seamless integration between the game and the social platforms features. Uplanders who with a home address get an early advantage by being the first ones to generate a link on the game on X. Other players who join through your link will contribute points to your team and to your score too. In addition to earning points as a team, XStacks is somewhat of a digital relay race. If you are stuck on a level you cannot pass, you can discover new levels on your X feed. Essentially, the levels are going to be transferable. It's going to be like a save point. You can do a save point from someone else's own experiences that aren't yours, that you didn't earn the way, but you could just jump from one level to another, kind of skip one throughout the middle, trying to get into somebody else's accolades. A quick clarification: players do not need to set their home address to a specific city to start playing. Again, Upland said that earlier. It's kind of this idea of they wanted to have team camaraderie and build it around where your home address is, but that's not really what XStacks is. It's tied to Upland, but it's not one for one. It doesn't require you to do something in Upland in order to be effective in XStacks. Simply click on an XStacks link anywhere on X. If you see an XTAX link on X, you can jump on someone else's. Again, you're earning them points. You're earning yourself points. You're aligning with a team at that point, whatever that city is. Also, players do not need to change their home address to link with X. So you can have your own home address in the game of Upland. You can have your own activity in XStacks. The activity in XStacks is based on the city alignment from the link that you clicked on. Again, you will be able to seamlessly connect your XStacks account with Upland, just like the previous airdrop. This feature will be released very, very soon. Again, it's not out right now, but it will be something that we'll tie back to the Upland account, just like we did for the airdrops. Players compete in multiple cities at once, but the more unique days you play in a single city, the bigger your bonus, giving those who start a city sooner a major advantage, aka start now. If you haven't played yet, if you're just seeing the announcements now, if you're just hearing about this, jump in, play, see what you think. Again, this is one of those things that we can go and play 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels, get stuck on the 9th, and then you try it again, then you fail. You try it again, and you fail. And, eventually you make that breakthrough. You make another run. We see this with a lot of people. If we look back in the heyday of the social gaming or the gaming, on the Facebook games, it was that same idea that you'd play so many levels, you get to a little bit of a wall, you'd find a way over that wall, and that would be kind of the fun to get over that wall, and you get 2 or 3 more levels and hit another wall. So this could be something that really is worth coming back to the well on. It is its own mini game. It is not a series or a host of mini games. It doesn't seem like the integration is going to allow there to be a large variety in gameplay. Maybe different ways we can compete, maybe different ways that people can get rewarded for how they are participating, but I'm not sure about where the variety is going to lie here. And maybe I get surprised. Maybe we see some major modifications in gameplay in the not so distant future. But if this is just the tip of the iceberg, if this is just one of the mini games that Upland can put out, and they're going to put out other ones, and they can kind of have collective points or shared aspect between those games, it would be pretty exciting to see that ecosystem kind of develop outside the game of Upland. Upland has already said that this year they're going to focus on Discord as being one of their communication platforms, as well as X, and this is a way of prioritizing X as a communication, as a social platform that Upland is tied into. So don't wait, jump in early, build the momentum, and fight for your city. XStacks takes social gaming to the next level by blending in real-world Web3 initiatives, allowing cities to compete for Sparklet tokens, and that's key, is there are rewards. The reward Sparklet is a cryptocurrency now. It is a token. It is something that has utility as well in the game of Upland, but it is also a token. It is also a coin that people can hold on to and speculate and hold and accumulate and potentially sell at some point, or more appropriately, I think, take back into its native environment, which is Upland, and use it to build or to stake or to do other work in the game of Upland, which includes charging cars. And maybe we'll have some additional applications in the very near future, which we know we'll have some very near future enhanced applications, hopefully. The game is free to play with a limit of 10 daily level replays. For those seeking a more competitive experience, premium options, of course, there has to be a premium. Premium options are available. Players can purchase a premium pass or hold Sparklet tokens. Quick note on these Sparklet tokens. Verified through MetaMask to unlock unlimited access. Again, it doesn't sound like a lot to hold 150 Sparklet. It's not. I mean, I've got tens of thousands of Sparklet, but you're going to hold 150 Sparklet in your MetaMask wallet. That means that if you had bridged them out previously, you have those Sparklet. If you bridge them out now, you have to pay a gas fee. Get them into your MetaMask. That 150 Sparklet is your pass to essentially have premium access to this. Maybe, if this is an ecosystem Upland's building, maybe the use case for Sparklet or additional one into Upland is it's a gating. You have it in your wallet, like you've seen in some other tokens. You have it in your wallet. Just for having that amount in your wallet, you now have access to this gamified environment. You now have premium access to XStacks at this point, and potentially other games in the future. Offering simple access and gameplay available in both Web 2 and Web 3 users. Again, excuse me, both Web 2 and Web 3X users. Please note, players must hold 150 Sparklet or purchase a premium pass of $4.99 to unlock unlimited replays. Otherwise, you're capped to the 10 level replays per day. Why Xstacks is a game changer. As the first fully integrated game on X, Xstacks brings a new layer of interactivity to the platform. It uses your social connections to create real momentum, again, earning points by those who are interacting with your gameplay, with your post, making every post and interaction meaningful. The innovative approach helps drive mass adoption of Sparklet while showcasing Upland's brand to a broader audience. This is more than just gaming. It's a fusion of competition, collaboration, and community building. And this is just the beginning. Get ready for the future of social gaming with Xstacks. Upland is pioneering the next era of gaming where the lines between social platforms, gaming, and Web3 initiatives blur. Whether you're a puzzle enthusiast, a Web3 explorer, or just somebody looking to have some fun, competitive way to compete and connect with others. Xstacks is your next adventure. Are you ready for the massive, or to join the massive movement? Dive in, represent your city, and be part of the future of Xstacks on X. Again, this was something that was teased. This is something we knew was coming. It was something that we hadn't seen much gameplay on, but we had seen a preview video. We saw that this is rotational. We saw that it's Tetris. It's a circular version of Tetris. I think I can say that. And, or it's very similar to, there we go, similar to, not inspired by, but similar to. And it gives you opportunity to, have replayability. There's a premium version that allowing even more replayability, and it's leveling. And that's the idea of anything, is to achieve your highest level, earn more points as you continue to level, and hopefully replayability. It's something that, with a changing order of the blocks, previous to how we've seen other, block building or alignment games where you have, addition and deletion of rows based on completing rows, where you see that gameplay. People can play hundreds of rounds and lose the same level 100 times because there's enough variety in each gameplay. It does introduce and does create this replayability that's pretty significant for a lot of people, sinking hours into some of these games that seem very simple. In this case, seem very simple is absolutely the case, but having a variety of outcomes, having and allowing people to continue to have interaction and to think about what they're doing as they're playing. Tree is good to see it. Glad you could be here. Let's get a couple of other announcements. Again, it felt like it was trickle all day with the Xstacks live announcements. Again, Xstacks live essentially pushing out at 12 noon PT today. That'd be 3 p.m. East Coast time when I saw that kick off. Once you're done, once you're done that and underway, get a chance to have someone start playing on your link. We're excited about your progress. Share your Xstacks generated post in the replies here for maximum exposure. Again, you share onto Upland's post, people see it, people engage with your post, connected to Upland's post. Again, getting you more exposure, getting more clicks, getting you more points for your leaderboard. You heard it right. Xstacks was live, and that was 12 p.m. PT. That means Xstacks has been live now for about 8 hours, and we will continue to see how that changes. I will check, tomorrow and the next day and into next week, and we'll likely see that the participation from people inside Upland and outside Upland continues to grow. We'll see where replayability really ends up being. We'll really see if this is something that can sustain months. We've had other games, Layer 2 primarily, that come up into Upland, and they have a use case for a month or two, and people compete, and it's kind of fun. And then 3 months into their existence, that play through, that group of people, the leaderboard contest, they get less fun. We'll have to see because this could be something that sustains. I know some people have played games like this for hours and weeks and months, and we'll have to see how people interact with Xstacks. But we do have the opportunity to look at something that's not X-Stacks today. Frost season has arrived. We're trying to heat up with some Frost season block explorers, something we see quite a bit. So let's take a look at the registration for the sale. We'll take a look at the prices of the sale itself. Registration's live now. The sale is taking place tomorrow, Tuesday, Friday the 4th at 9 a.m. PT. Expect that registration to close at 8 a.m. PT tomorrow. We've got 3 exciting bundles to choose from. We'll take a look. 20K UPX and Frost Flames Block Explorer. That's 20,000 UPX. You pay the $20. You also get the Block Explorer. This is Eternal Flames. This is Frost Flames. 70 of each. So there's 140 of these bundles overall. You get one or the other. So $20 for a Block Explorer that there's 70 of each. It does align. It does align with previous pricing models. Again, you still get the 20,000 UPX. The Block Explorer is a reward. 40,000 UPX and a Frost Block Explorer. Again, 40,000 UPX. You spend $40 and you get one of these Block Explorers. So there's 40 of these, the Permafrost Piercer. There's 40 of these, the Winter Watch Helmet. And then there's the Longsword. The 40 of each of these mints. By saying Winter Watch, Upland, what are you alluding to with your Frost Dragons and your Winter Watch? I wonder. 60,000 UPX and an Icebreaker Blade Block Explorer. You get 60,000 UPX, you spend the $60 USD, unlock the Icebreaker Blade Block Explorer. Very rare. 20 of these available. There you go. Don't miss your chance to level up your collection, boost your Frost season score. Register now and be ready for the sale to start on the 4th. We do see these again. People have this continued question about these sweetener sales and what's the value and what's the value of Block Explorers. The 2 values that we know about is A, it's a representation in the game of Upland. It's a collectible if you choose to view it that way. Upland did add the season collector score to kind of enhance that value a little bit, where you're participating in a leaderboard contest with prizes throughout the season. The more of the season items you acquire throughout the season, the more score or higher your score on the leaderboard, the greater your chance to win a host of prizes, a number of prizes on that leaderboard contest. Again, Block Explorer sale tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. If you want to participate, make sure to register by 8 a.m. PT tomorrow. We have a bunch of live updates that were going on throughout the day as well. So first and foremost, the NFLPA update. There was some passes from week 1, 2 of the postseason, and the wildcard rounds will be open for exchange on Tuesday. Tomorrow, it happens to be Friday. It happens to be February the 4th at 9:30. It gets kicked off. Quick clarification again. The language in the original announcement made it sound like you had to do something in the game of Upland and you had to change your city alignment, your residence address in the game of Upland if you wanted to have an alignment in X-Stacks. That wasn't the case. That was clarified. That was at 1:56 p.m. PT. That clarification went out. It said players do not need to set their home address to a specific address in order to start playing. Simply click on the X-Stacks links on X to jump in. Also, players do not need to change their home address to link or align with X. You will be able to seamlessly connect your X-Stacks account with Upland, just like you have in previous airdrops. But again, this is not live now. Don't click the button 100 times and be surprised that nothing's happening. This is a feature that will come and it will come soon, but it doesn't exist now. Stay tuned. Flash Challenge. Finally, a Flash Challenge. Flash Challenge tying to a new aspect of the game, the aspect du jour, the new thing in the game of Upland, and obviously that is S-Stacks. Flash Challenge X-Stacks Atlas S-Stacks. What better way to celebrate X-Stacks than with a Flash Challenge? Head on over to X-Stacks, again, channel. Look at that. In Discord, there is a X-Stacks channel now. So head on over to X-Stacks channel and show us your X-Stacks prowess by sharing your high scores and your leaderboard. We'll pick the 4 participants. I don't don't know. The 4 participants that have the hairiest knuckles, I don't know. The ones they like best, the random aspect, details aren't there. But 4 of the participants, they generally are randomly selected. They get 25,000 UPX each. Again, the challenge is run between now and tomorrow, Tuesday the 4th at noon PT. So this is your opportunity over a 24-hour flash challenge to potentially win to potentially win 25,000 UPX. Be one of 4 people to win 25,000 UPX. And if it is something that you are someone who's excited about playing the new game and showing off, it's your opportunity to show off in a group as well. Look at my score. Look at the points I earned. So you have that opportunity to kind of show off there. I want to do some takeaways on X so far, the X stacks. Again, my experience of the gameplay is I was surprised that it's a longer game or becomes a longer game than I wanted it to be at the moment. I said, okay, I can dip into this for 4 minutes. But now I get through level 1 and I'm on level 2 and I go through level 2 and I'm on level 3 and I'm level 3 and I'm on level 4. It's like cruising on 14, 15 minutes by the time I'm halfway through level 5 and I'm like, I didn't think I need to invest this much time in that. And that's what happens with people when they go treasure hunting as well. There's iterations and iteration and iteration. It's one treasure hunt after the other. And that's historically been something that people have really enjoyed, is that they're compelling for a short period of time. And you finish one compelling short game and now you're into another one, or a short event and you're into another one. This is something that sustains people for 10, 15, 20 minutes worth of gameplay when the interaction itself seems so simple. In many cases it is, but they stack and they layer and one comes after the other. And, if you do a level in a game that the levels are short enough, you do get into that cycle where you go to finish and you finish one and, I'll do just one more, and you finish the one more and now you want to finish the one afterwards. And yeah, Uplands, that is addictive. That is the definition of addiction. And I think you're trying to create that. People can't give it up. They have to do the one more. They have to do the one more. And if they don't, they're sitting there shaking in the corner and they aren't looking so hard. They look real pale. Upland, don't make people addicts. But I think there is some replayability here. I think that this is something that is going to find a home. There's going to be some people who enjoy it. For the people who this is not what they were looking for out of Upland is still Upland. There's other things that are going to continue to exist. But if this is the start of Upland trying to reach out and treat Upland like a platform, and as a platform, it can have connections and ties to other things. Back to this early grandiose illusion or gaze to the future that at some point Upland was going to be just a segment of the overall interconnected metaverse, and the overall interconnected metaverse would have platform after platform, and you would be able to do something in this metaverse and kind of have a crossover into this metaverse, and you could earn something in this metaverse and have applications of it in this metaverse, and have ties where there's social tied into gamification, tied into asset management and owning things, and having that thing you own have a utility in another ecosystem. And I think that there's been some of that's been lost in the development of metaverses as a whole. There was this idea that Meta was going to crank out some metaverse really quickly, and it was going to be holistic, and there was going to be application after application built in it, and we see that shift, and we see a lot of changes in the goals and the aims of metaverses. But to go back to Upland, looking from the past to say, we want to have play, connect, earn. Those are the 3 goals of Upland. We want to give people ability to play, gamification, connection, the ability to have social, earn, the fact that in the end you are going to have a potential prize or winnings or a time staked into reward out. That's what we're getting here. That's what this new step along the way is. It is a fulfillment of play, connect, earn. You're doing all 3. You're playing a game, the connection, the way you are socially engaging or other people are socially engaging with your own performance in the game. That's affecting your points. Those points are the earn. You're earning points to place on a leaderboard. That leaderboard is potentially going to earn you a share of Sparklet and over this last 6-month journey, Sparklet has went from just being a utility inside the game of Upland, which I think is the most compelling reason to have Sparklet. I think the idea of sitting on Sparklet right now or sitting on Sparklet 6 months ago and thinking that it was going to go to the moon, that might have been missing the point of Sparklet. The most native reason or the most important reason for me to hold it is obviously its utility in the game of Upland. So with all of those things tied in together, looking forward to Upland continuing to fulfill that original mission. And if it starts with X stacks and it goes into X ponies and then it goes into X moon base, and then we also have a game in another ecosystem and a game in another ecosystem, and you can earn Sparklet over here and you can earn Sparklet over here, and maybe over here you have some asset that has some tie to the game of Upland you can earn, and all of a sudden you really have that original Web3 envisioned future that Upland had at one point, which was that we could have these real ties between the metaverses, and Upland could have a presence in these other ecosystems, and these other ecosystems could have a presence in Upland, and kind of tie and make an interconnected web for a Web3 type metaverse. I think that is something that Upland never lost sight on, even though the industry as a whole has kind of moved around a little bit. The priority on metaverses has kind of shifted a little bit as more focus has gone directly towards AI. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a potential. This is a potential for Upland to continue to onboard, to bring new people into the game, and to make the game more compelling for those who are already playing and have been playing for the last several years. So I'm going to look at this on an optimistic note at this point. I'm going to continue to participate with XStacks and see where it takes me. The whole social aspect of earning points based on how many people engage with your post and be early to get it in there and post in the right place so people engage your post, that's not less compelling to me. I know that's a big part of the way Upland's setting this leaderboard contest, but that's not so compelling to me. The playing the game, the earning along the way, to be able to have a little bit of competition with my friends. Hey, I got this score. What score did you get? That seems more fun to me. Again, everybody has their own networks and they build their own friend groups and they see the social aspects differently. But, in the broad way that it's kind of anonymous social activity when people are talking about competing against, against others and engaging with somebody's previous high score. If it's not your friends you're directly engaged in, if you didn't create that social group, it feels like it's going to be, skin deep as far as these connections. But it is an opportunity to kind of engage with the game itself in an interesting way, because I think the leaderboard makes it interesting. I think the leveling and the engaging with other people's leveling and potentially using other people's leveling to advance your own, I think that's a fun aspect of it as well. So for tonight, I'm going to keep my eyes open. I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to get ready to engage in stacks day after day, at least for a short while, to see how it feels, to see how we move going forward, and to see how this first leaderboard contest for stacks does stack up. So for tonight, I'm going to say thank you so much for being here Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. PT. We do get together on Discord, on YouTube, on Twitter, to go over the day's news, to have some comment, to have some context, and of course, I want to go over the real facts, as many as them as we can put together. So for tonight, thank you so much for being here. If you're in the Upland Discord Cafe, feel free to unmute your mic. The floor is yours.